This is the URT. You are the URT. Pick up the URT. We're coming. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back from the cold. It's freezing out here, mate. It's freezing. It's grim up north. It's grim up north, mate. It's not just the football teams. It's not just Liverpool. It's not just Manchester United. You know what I mean? It's just grim. The weather is grim. Getting into the height of the winter. It's nearly December. Festive season. Big up to all those people. Big up to all my Christians and all the people who love Christmas. The festive season has begun. But that's not what we're here to talk about. Today we're going to try to set a couple of things straight. That's what we're here to do. So this is a segment where we analyze aspects of Manchester United past, especially the past, connecting with the present. Today I'm going to talk about the recent things that I've been seeing from ex-Manchester United players on the attitude of Paul Pogba while he was at the football club. And what was actually going on, certain insights that's been given to us. So those of you who know, Paul Pogba left Manchester United after this contract rundown. He went to Juventus, picked up injuries. So he became injury prone anyway. I'm Manchester United. Then went to Juventus, picked up injuries, and then he came back and then he failed the test, apparently a drug test. Now, we've seen lots of footballers fail drug tests, so we never really truly know what really happened. But there are all sorts of supplements that sports people take, and some of them contain something that are banned in FIFA regulations or UEFA regulations. But anyway, Paul Pogba, since then, he's about in his mid-30s now, or maybe 34, 35 now, if I'm not mistaken. He's moved on to FC Monaco in France. Obviously, he signed for them in the summer. He's had a turbulent time, really wretched time since he left Manchester United in terms of the stuff that was going on with his brothers and the people from his neighborhood and how they was trying to embezzle some money out of him. I mean, boy, oh boy, it was crazy things were happening with him. But today I'm going to explore aspects of what it was, because one thing we did have, most of us who pay attention, and those of you, you know who you are, that I've said with Paul Pogba, criticizing Paul Pogba on the performance 100%. Criticizing Paul Pogba of what he does off the football pitch, that's where I do not like. And this is where we're going to talk about cultures clashing as English football or the Premier League was changing. Different cultures and people of different type of persuasions who didn't want to keep their head down. People who were actually wanting to live in the moment and wanted to, show their culture, show the joy that they have, being at the positions which they're in, clashed with old school mentality. And that's what we're going to break down. But before I go even further, I just want to give you a little insight into what one of them people said, who was actually a coach at the time, if I'm not mistaken, at Manchester United. So let me just show you this. So just bear with me as I share this little clip with you. So bear with me. I hope you're all enjoying yourselves anyway, but we thought we'll bring some receipts. Some receipts. Yeah, we'll share some receipts. There we go. We're going to share a bit of this. I don't know if you can see it, but
a few times, really.
First appearance in 811 over the weekend. Pogba made his return. First appearance in 811 days.
When he come back, I met him a few times. Really good lad. I think the club made the rod for their own back with the signing me. They built this big monster, commercial monster, and then didn't like the fact that he was getting too big. And they set this big studio up, and it was like a 3-day filming. All his I'm back, his advert, which is obviously sponsored by Adidas, which was his boot sponsor, and it was huge. I was thinking, it's a bit over the top. I know as a young player, and if you're having a bad time, All you want to do is concentrate on football. Paul was the same. All you want to do is get in the training complex with the people that you come to with and do what you're good at. And I also know he got dragged from pillar to post to commercial all week. I'm not mean 1 day a week. I mean 3-4 days a week. I've never seen any commercial like that in my life.
If it was around our era, we'd have looked after them.
We had superstars in our squad. And I mean superstars. You had like Keane, Giggsy, him, Cristiano, all these players that are superstars, they never got that. And do you want to know why? Because they had a mind who controlled everything. Fundamentally, it's 10:30 in the morning till 1 o'clock in the afternoon or 2 in the afternoon. You was a footballer. You get one commercial day a week that you did something for the club, which the club was well within the right to ask for that because you were getting paid a lot of money. When Paul came in, it was totally different. It was like football 50%, commercial 50%. All I know is when I was growing up in that age, if I was having a bad time, all I wanted to do was get on a training pitch and get back to basics, and you couldn't do that.
And over the weekend, Pogba made his return.
Did you guys hear that? Did you guys hear that? Did you guys hear that? Especially the last sentence. Did you hear that? 50% was football, 50% was commercial. Did you guys hear that? People like me who will pay attention, and like we, those of us who know, and I know who I'm talking to, specifically those of you talking to, knew and had ideas what was going on at this football club because we knew some of the people who worked in this football club. And we knew that Ed Woodward and the Glazonomics said Paul Pogba was paid over 40 million in the price that was asking. 40 million was given to his agent, the late agent who passed away, Mira Riola. He was giving 40 million to get this over the line. Because why? Paul Pogba was tied to Adidas and the Paul Pogba signing because he was an Adidas ambassador in terms of, he was one of the players in his prime at the height of his career. Adidas was one of the biggest stars of Adidas in terms of commercial entity and football boots and shirts and everything else. Paul Pogba was bought for that reason because he coincided with Manchester United signing a deal with Adidas. And the reason why he was never allowed to leave Manchester United when he asked second season, the third season, he was not allowed because of the commercial. Because he bought in more than the money Manchester. He must have bought in at least, I'm thinking, $500 million in terms of him being advertising, or even more in the years that he's been at the football club. Paul Pogba made this football club and the Glazers and Ed Woodward and Matt Judge and Richard Arnold, all of them, loads of money. Loads of money, loads of money. That is what happened. So Nicky Butt there in that last sentence said, you did maybe one afternoon or a couple of hours in one day in a week to do commercials. Paul Pogba was 50-50. So can I ask the question, like most of us knew, where people were coming out for him saying, he's this, he's that, he's this, he's that. Did we not tell you Manchester United was a commercial football club? Who else said Manchester United is a commercial football club? You absolute bullyheads! While we were telling you in real time, some of you, because of your prejudice, because of your racism, were arguing with people like me. When we were telling you what Manchester United was about. And that's what is the most frustrating thing. And this lad took that level of abuse. He was a product of his environment, just like every player that was at that football club. Football didn't matter, and it still doesn't matter. It still doesn't matter. Nothing has changed. So it's interesting to get the insight from Nicky Butt, who was in and around the youth at Manchester United at that time when Paul Pogba came back. And majority of you bootlickers and sheep were believing in this. Paul Pogba doesn't care, really. He doesn't care. Anyway, so that's one. That is one. My second piece of evidence is actually quite controversial because Wayne Rooney came out and actually said some disparaging things about Paul Pogba. But of course, Wayne Rooney needs to get on. Wayne Rooney needs to get on podcasts and he has to disparage and say something controversial and over the top to get the clicks and get the eyes on it and to monetize so that whatever podcast he's on, whether he's on Sky, whether he's on BT, whether he's on any of these podcasts overlap, he has to say something disparaging around against Paul Pogba and say something. But all of a sudden, I'm hearing something different. So let me just play you this. Let me play you this.
What was he like as a teammate?
Yeah, he was good. You know what? He was really respectful to everyone, especially the older players. But yeah, no, he was a nice team. It just get on your nerves a little bit with all his dancing and all that. But that's part of his character.
Yeah, did he make it sometimes make football almost look too easy? You think that was the issue in a way?
Yeah, sometimes. And when we spoke about body language as well before, sometimes his body language didn't look great, but that was just the way he held himself and the way he ran was very casual and stuff like that. So I think that's probably what people look at and think he's not working hard or he's not running.
People used to say the same about Berbatov though as well, wouldn't it? I
He's
think
just lazy though. He didn't run. Even when we
Okay. There we go. I'm gonna stop it there. They're going to talk about Berbatov and whatever. But I want to bring it back to the top Reds. I want to bring it back to people who abused him. This video is for people like Stephen Bauer, so-called commentator, who I couldn't find the tape, but basically, so I'll give you this. Stephen Bauer, Paul Pogba was injured one time, and I think it was around Ramadan. I think it might have been March, but he was injured. He was at the back of the car. He was wearing a full garment. I think he just come back from a mosque, and he was listening to the Quran being chauffeured in this car. And basically, he pointed to that video, which was on social media, and put Ryan Giggs on the spot and said to Ryan Giggs, look how he's behaving. Look at the way he's behaving. I just want to say this, people. When I said at the beginning, clash of cultures. So Paul Pogba wasn't out dancing in a nightclub. Paul Pogba wasn't coming out of a police station after he got into a drunken fight. Paul Pogba wasn't getting any of these allegations and all of this supposed what was happening to a lot of these footballers. Paul Pogba wasn't getting any of that. Paul Pogba is at the back of a car wearing his garment, Shuachamis, those of you who know, the thobes, wearing the thobes, literally watching in this car, I think it might have been a Rolls Royce, watching Mecca and Medina, live feed from Mecca, Medina with the Quran. And Stephen Bauer, who's a commentator for all, he does it for Sky, he does it for BT, he does it for the Champions League, he does all of it. He used to work, he's a United fan, I think. He used to work for MUTV back in the day. And he is an Islamophobe and a fucking racist and a disgrace piece of shit he is. The video is out there and I couldn't find it. But I remember watching it. I think it was Premier League. You know the Premier League where it's like the Premier League where they do the previews. It was a Premier League show. And he's like, look, Manchester United have lost and look what one of their stars is doing. Not understanding that actually Paul Pogba was just posting something. I think it might have been Eid or it might have been Ramadan. And that is what the problem was. That the xenophobia, the Islamophobia, the absolute ignorance. Even if you put that, if you say to me, Nuruddin, you've gone too far, you're accusing him of being Islamophobic and racist, put it aside. But the ignorance is unbelievable. To lambast him. What Nicky Butcher said told everybody what we all suspected and what some of us went and did some research and got contacts to find out what was really happening at the football club. What was the Paul Pogba signing about? What was it about? It was about the Adidas. It was linked to the Adidas. He was an ambassador of Adidas, and Adidas will not assign that type of deal with Manchester United in that long sustained, that period of time. Woodward got it done, and he was held captive. But I don't blame Woodward because I know these vultures, or Adidas, the vultures. Paul Pogba and his agent, Paul Pogba was advised horribly advised by Minarola. They say don't speak ill of the dead. I'm not speaking ill of the dead. I'm just telling you, he got 40 fucking million. Minarola got 40 fucking million for that deal. Paul Pogba cost 90 million. I think what Juventus got must have been around 50 to 40 million. 50 something million, I think. 80 million, something like 90 million it came up to. 40 million of it went to the agent. So, I don't want to make this video longer than I need to. But this is what I want to give because I bought the receipts. Now, I've got another video to show you because here where I said that Wayne Rooney in the past lied on Paul Pogba, lied on him, and I want to take it back. And I want to give you some insight for it. So, I want to show you this. I'm bringing receipts, people. So please, the least you could do is like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it far and wide. Far and wide. But I want to give you this. Let me give you this bit of insight. Because here we go. This is a year ago. A year ago. And the Wayne Rooney, Paul Pogba heard about the Wayne Rooney allegations, and he's going to explain in detail and break it down. So listen.
Can I just ask you something I read? I wanted to see if you agreed with this. It's something that Jesse Lingard wrote on the weekend in an English newspaper at the Times. He said, another of my boys is Paul Pogba. We connected from day one when he arrived in United's academy, aged 16. I love the kid. So many people want to judge him, but I always think, geez, you just don't know him as a person. If you actually sat down and spoke to Paul, you'd find he's one of the humblest individuals you'll ever meet. And football, he loves it to death. He has so much dedication, his own personal trainers, physios, chefs. But I just think that, as with me, a certain section of the public forms an impression from social media. When we've seen dancing or having fun, all we're doing is expressing ourselves and trying to connect with our followers. We're happy-go-lucky, good energy, good vibes. We live in the moment. What's wrong with that? Do you think that sums you up?
No, it's always good. Jesse is a really close friend of mine, Like he said, it's the truth. We always connect and we always have this good energy. And when that time at United we were like this and we were winning, it was never a problem, obviously. Like I say, we're in a big club. And I want to clarify something about because I've been hearing stuff that Wayne Rooney once said, we lost the game and me and Jesse were dancing in the changing room. You need always other opinion, a witness on this, okay? So if somebody can confirm what Wayne Rooney said when we were in the changing room, I will accept it. But if there is not, that's mean it's not true. And when Jesse Lingard tell you, did Jesse Lingard confirm that? Never, I never confirmed that because I am someone, I'm a very bad loser and I respect what I do, I respect the club. After a game that I lose, me coming to the dressing room, putting music, and Wayne Rooney, the legend of the club, sitting there not saying nothing to us. Does he match? You think he match? Nobody in the club will come and say nothing to us dancing after we lose a game.
What do you think that whole issue was about then? These videos and the dancing?
Because it's the social media. I mean, you don't know me. Outside the camera, I can be here, you give me a ball, I will be playing. I am myself. People love to see that, yes. People love to see that. Kids love to see that, yes. They love to see that. And some other people, they don't like to see those things. But what does it change? I mean, you dance at home or in the changing room, we enjoy life, tomorrow we can finish, right? And we are very positive person. We have a lot of pressure with the media, with our performance, with the coaches, with our family. When we have this time, we playing football, we are getting paid a lot of money. I would say, this is the truth, a lot of money because people love football. Thank you to them, thank you to the fans that we get paid. They criticize us, but thanks to them, because they're watching us and we get paid from them. Because it's not us, it's them that help us to have this amount of money. And this is the truth. So thank you to them. And we are trying our best. We're doing what we love and we want to enjoy. We don't want to be depressed for 5 days because we lost the game. No, this is not Paul Pogba. This is not Jesse Lingard. After a day, you come, you respect, you're angry. Then you go home, you can dance or whatever. But then the next day, we come, let's go, let's move on, guys. Next game, you have to get ready. Yes, this is me. But the day after, like for the dancing or whatever, you will see me with, you see the hairstyle? For the people that, this is me. This.
There you go. There you go. So Paul Pogba there in his own mouth, in his own words, broke it down. Words coming from his own mouth, he broke it down. But I want to give a bit more cultural insight that people of African descent, people from different countries, culturally express themselves in a different ways. And the reason why I said before, because in English football, for a long, long time, and the English and the British culture is going out, getting smashed, coming out of a late club, you know what I mean, you've been smashed. I, by the way, I don't know if many of you know, I used to work as a door person. I used to be a doorman, if you want to go to that. And I worked in some of the clubs in Manchester for a long time. I think about a decade I must have done that job. From when I was 18 till in my late 20s. And I remember seeing Wayne Rooney, and I remember seeing other Manchester United players falling out of a club absolutely in a state. And I'm telling you, and this is not the first time I've said it. I've said it again and again, and I say it again. I've stopped people taking photos of Wayne Rooney doing things that I don't even want to talk about because he's that absolutely smashed out of his head. So the point I want to make, people, is that different cultures, just because people like to have fun, and like Paul said, he doesn't know if he's going to go tomorrow. He's under so much pressure. And because of his heritage and because what he's into, part of his culture is expression. How is the expression? Dancing. Dancing is rooted in some aspect of his heritage and culture. I'm spiritual. Dancing actually is aspects of spirituality. People might not say that. People might not deep that. But it's a fact. Dancing and the way of expressing with your body and moving is part of the culture, especially people of African descent. It's facts. It's a fact. Take it to the bank with you. So because you don't like it. Now, there are two camps. It's not all the bootlickers and all the sheep are racist or Islamophobic or xenophobic. No, I think they're just ignorant. Some of them are. Percentage of them are. I'm not going to shy away from that. And whether this hurts you or not, I don't give a hoot. But I'm going to tell you the facts. I've been at Manchester United. I've seen black players get abused. People have been 3 rows in front of me, 3 rows to the side of me, 5 rows to the back of me. I've heard the N-word. I've heard the black C-U-N-T. I've heard it all. But is it all United fans? No. Does it have all football fans have that? Yes. Every football club has a section that does that. But because the way Manchester United were when Paul Pogba was there, and yes, he's one of the best players of that team when he was bought for a lot of money, but majority of people don't do what is due diligence and go on research and speak to people and find out. Paul Pogba, as Wayne Rooney said, was respectful. As Nicky Butt said, was respectful. But when he was here, he was painted in a totally different light to get clicks and to ex-players who are now analysts to get jobs. Dunking on him became the thing. And I'll never forget, the level of obsession Graham Souness had with him was racial. Was racial. Was racist. Was racist. I keep saying it again to some of you, it gets into your thick heads. Was racist. Stephen Bauer, racist. He's a journalist. He should know better but he used Paul Pogba to get Ryan Giggs to rattle Ryan Giggs and say, look at this now. Ryan Giggs knows what's going on at the football club. Ryan Giggs knew because Ryan Giggs was employed as a interim manager. He was there for the lot of the years. But no, it was there. Use Paul Pogba's name to make a name for yourself in the broadcasting arena. So Wayne Rooney lied on Paul Pogba. Facts. Paul Pogba there called it out. And Wayne Rooney now saying, Wayne Rooney's not saying that, is he now? So I want to just say to Paul Pogba, one of the best players, one of the best midfielders I ever witnessed. I remember watching him as a kid. I remember that great youth team with Raphael Morrison, with Jesse, all of those youngsters. That team was special. That team that won the youth cup was special. Paul Pogba, when he left, I was deviled. Whatever fallout happened between him and Fergie happened. To me, if I could go back, Paul Pogba would never come back to this. And I think Paul Pogba was let down by Minarola. Or Paul Pogba, just like most footballers, saw the money and just saw the money. And he needs to take responsibility for that, for the greed. If it's him, if it's Raiola, what people, young footballers, need to watch who represents them. Because I believe if Paul Pogba went to Real Madrid, was surrounded by better players, he would have achieved a lot more in football. Manchester United is a dying dinosaur of a football club. Not because that's what the football club is, that's what the fans want. It's because of our owners. And majority of us, especially those of us who live in Manchester, are too cowardly. Aki, the internet ready? We're too cowardly. We're not willing to have criminal records on our name when it comes to doing civil disobedience. And whether you like it or not, the UK now is a police fucking state. That's what the UK is. So we can't do any civil disobedience. And majority of us we'll lose our jobs. We're not willing to risk it. And that's a fact. And I'm one of those cowards. That's a fact. Yeah? Unless 75,000 of us act accordingly, what needs to be done, that's not going to happen. Because I don't know if most of you know, football was a working class sport. And now it's for middle class audience, middle class fans. They don't have the class consciousness to be able to fight for and to take back the game which belongs to the people. The only thing that would happen, because they haven't got enough police to arrest all of us, is if, let's say 50,000 did what needed to be done to get the Glazers and Ineos out of the football club. So just to bring it back before I go on a tangent, Paul Pogba, wishing you all the best. I'm wishing you all the best. And the majority of Manchester United fans are sending you all the best. Sending you all the best, Paul, because you were a brilliant footballer. You gave me a lot of great days. I remember coming back in when we beat Leeds on the Ollie. I think it was 5-1 and he had 4 assists, I think, in that game. And many, many games. Won trophies with Manchester United. But it is what it is. He never won the league. He never was in a team to be consistent. But he became the poster boy and the scapegoat for Manchester United. So wishing him all the best in Monaco, and most importantly, wishing him good health. And he stays away from injury. I'm sure he will be able to play with that young, exciting team at Monaco. And I hope, and we all hope to see him pulling out some of his passing skills and dribbling skills in the Champions League. But people, there you go. That was a video of that where we go back and bring the receipts. It's bring the receipts. That's what that was. But remember, get in the comments if you disagree, if you agree. Get in the comments. Tell me what you disagree with. Tell me how inaccurate I am. Like I said, judging Paul Pogba on a performance or judging any footballer on a performance, no problem. Judging Paul Pogba because he danced, you need to look at yourself in the mirror. And what you need to do is educate yourself. Not everybody has to be the same. Can you imagine if we were all the same? Peace, love, light, free Palestine, Congo, Sudan. Take care. Free the people, free the land. Free everybody who's feeling oppressed worldwide. Free everybody feeling oppressed. F the colonizers, the military complex, industrial complex, and the imperialists. And if you want to be down with them, then F you too. And F the Glazers and F Ineos. And if you want to be down with them, then you're just a sheep and a bootlicker. So yeah, calling out the bootlickers on a daily. Peace, love, light, love each other, look after yourselves. Take care.